The broadcast of the regular meeting of the Minneapolis Local Board of Appeal and Equalization will now begin.
Good morning. Welcome to this live broadcast of our virtual meeting. This meeting includes the remote participation of members as authorized under Minnesota statutes sections 13D.021 due to the declared local health pandemic. For the record, my name is Neil Anderson and I am chair of the Local Board of Appeal and Equalization. I will now call this meeting to order. The open meeting law requires a roll call vote to be conducted during the virtual meeting, and a certification form will be completed for each local board meeting. This initial roll call will allow the city assessor to complete the certification form on behalf of the board members with a verbal signature. Will the clerk call the roll so that we may verify the presence of a quorum?
Board Member Bland.
Present.
Board Member Havoc.
Present.
Board Member Reed.
Present.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Present.
There are 4 members present.
Let the record reflect a quorum of the board is present. We will proceed to the agenda, a copy of which was posted for public access to the city's legislative information management system, which is available at lims.minneapolismn.gov. Members, the agenda is before you for your consideration. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Havoc, motion to adopt agenda.
Thank you.
Second.
It has been moved by Havoc and seconded by Bland to adopt the agenda. With that, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
That motion passes and the agenda as printed is adopted. We have 9 appeals scheduled from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. We will proceed in case order as listed on the agenda. When your case is called, the applicant will be given 5 minutes to present the appeal. The board will consider and take action after hearing these cases, if time allows, or at the end of the day after hearing all cases. If your phone is muted, press *6 to unmute. Property owners will be notified of the final decision by mail after the board has adjourned. We'll start with item number 3, 2823 11th Avenue South, case number 20BH-0074. The applicant is Harry Greenberg. Please state your name and property address for the record and then present your appeal to the board. You'll have 5 minutes, sir.
Can you hear me? It's Harry Greenberg.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. What else did you need to know?
And property address for the record.
2823 11th Avenue South.
Thank you.
So this is in Phillips, Midtown Phillips, and what I wanted to let you know is that the property taxes have gone up. In 2019 they were, I believe it was assessed to 187. In 2020 it was 220, and it's gone up another $50,000 from 220 to 221, which I think is completely unrealistic. I did some research on 3 properties, 2517 16th, and 2909 13th, and 2717 12th. So 2517 16th sold for $194,000, and they all sold, I think, in the fall. It was 1,784 square feet, so that was quite a bit larger than my house, which is actually 1,800. Well, actually, so that was I just multiplied that times 109. Okay, 1808. So I don't know if you're following me. So I basically got the square footage, and it's approximate to what mine was. So if that was my house, 1,808 square feet times 109, that would be $197,000. There was another house that sold, I believe, 2717 12th Avenue South, and that was 2,023 square feet. It sold for $235,000. It sold in November of 2019, so very recently. When I reversed that math, I got 116 per square foot. I multiplied that by the square footage of my property, which is 1808. That would be $210,000. There was another property, I believe, and that was lower. That was 3205 18th Avenue South, and that sold for $205,000, and that was 2136 square feet. So that was quite a bit larger than my house, and that equaled $96 per square foot, and that would put my house at $173,000. In all cases, I think the appraisal, this last appraisal, which I didn't challenge for $220,000, I think it's high, but I'm willing to live with it. But I think the appraisal for 2021 is completely unrealistic given the data that I just gave you and the houses I could find that sold within my immediate neighborhood, all of which are duplexes, and all of which are, I think in somewhat similar condition. When I bought the house way back in 2011, I did spend a lot of money remodeling it, but it hasn't been remodeled since then. So that's all 9 years ago. I don't know where my 5 minutes are. Does anybody have any questions? Is this making sense to the board?
I'll ask the board, if you're through with your presentation, I will ask the board if they have any questions for you. Board members, Board Member Bland.
Mr. Greenberg, is this a duplex or triplex?
Yeah, this is a duplex, and
Duplex.
all the properties I gave you are also duplexes. So the only difference, and I looked for duplexes that didn't have garages. I looked for duplexes in Newtown Village, which is where the house is located. I looked for duplexes that sold, within the last 3 or 4 months. So I just don't know where, and of course I know this was done at the end of the year before this crisis that we're sitting in right now happened. But I imagine that, that will also, affect housing prices going forward to some degree. Although all the prices I gave you had nothing to do with the coronavirus. They were sold last fall.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from other board members? I see none. Thank you for your time, Mr. Greenberg, and you'll be notified in writing.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the hearing. Okay.
Thank you. Item number 4, 4841 Lindell Avenue South, case number 20BH-0075. The applicant is Joseph Christoph. Please state your name and address for the record and then present your appeal to the board. You'll have 5 minutes, sir.
This is Joe Christoph, 4841 Lindale Avenue South. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good morning. So the estimated market value of my property for 2021 is $481,000. I had an appraisal on the property from JCM Appraisals on January 27th, 2020, and the property appraisal came back at $459,000. Of note, this appraisal did include improvements to the basement from 2017 and 2018. So just to sum it up, estimated market value 481, appraisal from January 459, and that's all I have. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Board members, do you have any questions for Mr. Christoph? One question, Board Member Havig.
Mr. Christoph, was this appraisal done for a refi or was it done for just strictly tax value?
It was done for a home equity line of credit.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And that was the question I had as well. Board members, any other questions for Mr. Christoph? Seeing none, thank you for your time, sir. We'll notify you by writing.
Thank you.
Item number 5, 3024 Fremont Avenue South, case number 20BH-0076. The applicant is a representative of Fremont 3024 LLC. Please state your name and address for the record and then present your appeal to the board. You'll have 5 minutes.
My name is Jerry Younger, and again, I'm owner at 3024 Fremont Avenue South, Minneapolis. And I'm a Vietnam Vera veteran. I'm not a spring chicken. I'm 75. I will be this July. And so I found it challenging keeping up with the tech, even to the technology to do this appeal. I think I have about 5,900 unanswered emails on my phone, and I'm not sure how you keep up with those and all of that you're doing with the appeals and these things. And I appreciate the time and not having to actually appear, and we're still able to get this done regardless of the COVID and the inaccessible things we've all experienced. But I've needed help getting this done, which leads me a little bit to the pictures that I expect that you received. There were like 10 pictures that I sent, along with a letter that I had addressed to Matthew by who's my assessor for my area in Minneapolis. So do you have that letter and the pictures accessible at all?
Yes, we do.
Okay, thank you. And I just wanted to add that the basement of that house, and this is a much smaller house, but the basement in that house is much worse condition than what the pictures can show. I mean, the lighting was poor. The resident stuff, had been in the way, and I had to rely on someone else to take the pictures. The entire west wall is very deteriorated in the southwest corner of the foundation of this building at 3024. It's not blocks, but it's poured concrete that has crumbled and deteriorated so badly. The basement is always damp in the spring and the summer. It's always been that way. And that wall should have like re-rod, maybe drilled into the cement and then new cement poured. But any new buyer coming in, is going to see the definite need to the foundation. The electric wiring in this home is from 1960s. It's got the double hung windows from when the house was built. The chimney needs a lot of work. There are a lot of spaces up there where the mortar should be. It's got a detached garage with the old swing barn doors on them. So this is an older house for sure, and not been updated like many others in the area. Referring to my letter dated April 28th, there is a mistake on, I think, the 5th paragraph, where it says that there was an increase of 24%, and that should say from 2016 to 2018. And then there was a $45,000 increase in 17-18. And also then I did do some comparisons that I found on Zillow and added those to the sheets. I think that's all I have, and I'm finished with my presentation.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll open it up to board members for questions. One quick question. How many bedrooms and bathrooms do you have?
It's got 1.5 bathrooms, and it's a 3-bedroom, but I did make it into a 4th upstairs sort of, but it's very narrow, kind of squeezed in there. I've included a picture of one where it's got the bed. You can see that the bed fills the whole room, so it's a very narrow 4th.
Okay, and in the photographs that you sent one of the street view. Is your house the one in the center?
It is, thank you, correct.
Okay, appreciated that. Board Member Havoc.
Yes, sir. I see that you are living in Florida. Is this house currently rented?
Yes, it is, and I included the rent roll and incomes for 18 and 19 as requested.
Okay, I guess I'm not seeing it. What's your monthly rent, sir?
It is like $2,000. Do you have the exact amount? Like $259.
Excuse me?
$22.59 a month.
Okay.
Per month.
All right, and does that include utilities, plus utilities, or included in utilities?
They are separate.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from board members? See none. Thank you for your time, Mr. Younger, and you'll be notified in writing.
All right, thank you also. Have a good day.
Thanks.
Bye now.
The next caller is for item number 8, 5420 Park Avenue, case number 20BH-0079. The applicant is Alex N. Fisher. Please state your name and address for the record, and then present your appeal to the board. You'll have 5 minutes, Mr. Fisher.
Hi, this is Daniela Fisher. For some reason, I'm not listed on the tax valuation notice anymore. I don't know why. I'm Alex N. Fisher's wife and co-owner of the home at 5420 Park Avenue.
Thank you.
The valuation estimated market value was $495,000. We refinanced the home in March, and as part of that process, received an appraisal, which I think you should have.
Yes, we do.
Okay, which based on the actual condition of our home, there are photographs included, I believe, at the bottom of the appraisal, as well as the comparable sales in the area came in at 423, and it's on the basis of this appraisal that we are appealing the valuation. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Board members, do you have any questions for Ms. Fisher? The appraisal is pretty straightforward. There are no questions from the board, Ms. Fisher. Thanks for your time. You'll be notified in writing.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you. Jackie or someone, Grant, do we have any other callers for this time slot?
Mr. Chair, item number 6, Mr. Halper will most likely be calling in, but he hasn't called in yet. Otherwise, we have no other speakers in the queue.
Okay, see none and plenty of time. Let's start with item number 3. The appeal for 2823 11th Avenue South, case number 20BH-0074. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? Board Member Havoc.
Yes, thank you. Based on the fact that this does not have a garage in that neighborhood, I would be in favor of making some sort of an adjustment on the value.
Okay, thank you. Any other board members want to comment on this property? Board Member Bland? Board Member Bland, unmute.
Sorry. I didn't find Mr. Greenberg's comps very helpful. There were a number that he mentioned in his call that weren't in his written material, and he did include in his written material one that had sold, and he did acknowledge that it wasn't a duplex. The information given isn't particularly helpful. I will agree with Board Member Havoc that not having a garage is definitely a drawback, and might consider a slight reduction based on that.
Thank you. Any other comments from board members? Seeing none, would someone be willing to put forward a motion? Board Member Havoc.
I would put forward a motion to reduce the taxes for the valuation for 2823 11th to 250,000.
Do I have a second on that?
Second, Reed.
It has been moved by Havoc and seconded by Reed to decrease the 2020 estimated market value to $250,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 4, the appeal for 4841 Lindale Avenue South, case number 20BH-0075. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? Board Member Bland.
I found these comps to be good ones. The appraisal, it was done for purposes of a HELOC, which leads me not to agree with the value of the appraisal as much, but I would entertain a lower value than the 481.
Okay, any other comments? I agree. I found the appraisal reasonable and value appropriate. Board Member Havoc.
I would make a motion for 4841 Lindale Avenue to reduce the tax value to 450,000.
Okay, the appraisal came in at 459, I believe. Is there a second?
I'll amend my motion to go for the property at 4841 Lindale Avenue South for 400 and what was it, 459?
Correct.
459,000 for the property address 4841 Lindale Avenue South.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Reed.
It has been moved by Havoc and seconded by Reed to decrease the 2020 estimated market value to $459,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 5, the appeal for 3024 Fremont Avenue South, case number 20BH-0076. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? Board Member Bland.
Well, it's pretty clear there's been some deferred maintenance. The basement being poured concrete, my question about that without being able to know anymore, is that really the foundation deteriorating, or is it simply some spalling, which we find with properties with poured concrete? So whether or not that's an actual problem, he did indicate that the basement is wet all the time or every year or something. And as we know, that's usually 90+% of the time that's gutters and negative drainage. So that, however, does affect the value of the property if that's not maintained. The rent seems pretty substantial. Somebody else want to comment?
Board members? Board Member Havig.
I agree with Board Member Bland. This one would be a tough one based on the rent for a reduction. So I guess that I would go any direction, but right now I'm kind of at market value.
Thank you. Board Member Reed.
Yeah, I would agree with Mr. Havik. You know, with the idea of the rent, and then also deferred maintenance by a landlord is a choice. So I agree.
Okay, thank you. We've heard from all the board members. Is someone willing to submit a motion? Board Member Havig.
I would submit a motion to sustain the value of 3024 Fremont Avenue South at $340,000.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second, Reed.
It has been moved by Havig and seconded by Reed to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $340,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Okay, item number 6, the caller is now in the lobby, so we will hear from him. Let me pull that up here. The applicant, item number 6, 740 Portland Avenue, EP 519, case number 20BH-0077. The applicant is David Helper. Please state your name and address for the record and then present your appeal to the board. Go ahead, Mr. Helper. Press *6 if you've been muted.
This is Shar Benson, David's wife. I'm here with David. So his name is David W. Helper, and the address is 740 Portland Avenue South in Minneapolis.
Thank you. Go ahead. You have 5 minutes for your presentation.
We're disputing the amount of tax increase on our unit. In 2019, the taxes were $13,033.53. 2020, there were $20,087.82. This year, it's showing $22,000 is the appraised value. It keeps going up, and we don't understand why such I mean, that's like a 60-70% increase.
And the property value has not increased because there are several apartments that have gone up since we purchased and are continuing to be built in the vicinity, which is decreasing our property value because of the increase in availability of apartments of that nature.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we open it up to questions from board members?
No, that pretty well states our concern and what we're questioning.
Okay. Board members, do you have any questions? Board Member Bland.
Yes, are you disputing the value of your condo unit?
They never put down the valuation on our tax notification, so I can't answer that question. It doesn't show a value. But we just refied it, and it doesn't come close to what we paid for it already.
Okay, the information you submitted to us refers to your garage space. That's not what you're disputing?
No, not the garage space at all. It's the unit itself.
We have no information on that. You did not submit that to us.
That would be my error. I thought that I did it the right way.
No, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did, but we don't have that information. You referred to the amount of taxes. We are concerned with the value, not the taxes. At this board is concerned with the value.
And that's what we're questioning is the value.
Valuation of it.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Excuse me. If someone from the assessor's office could explain to Ms. Benson, Mr. Helper, how they can further appeal this properly yet this year.
I believe she already did, and she told me that the way to do it, because we couldn't be there in person, was to submit it the way we did it. We are in Florida until sometime next month.
Okay.
Chair Anderson, this is Rebecca. And if it was the intention of the property owner to file an appeal on their condo unit instead of their garage stall, we can revise that property ID number to reflect the condominium unit. It's when they submitted the hearing sign-up form, they accidentally must have included the property ID number for the garage stall instead. So we can make that correction, and then they should contact Hennepin County to sign up for a county appeal, and we can continue to work with them on their appeal.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions for Ms. Benson or Mr. Helper?
No.
Okay. Seeing none, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for consideration. I appreciate it.
Yes.
We will contact them via phone.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks. I believe that now is the last caller for the morning session. Someone from the assessor's office, that is the next item on wants to consider an act. Should we table that one or continue it until either the afternoon or tomorrow?
Chair Anderson, are you referring to the case that you just heard from
Yes.
Mr. Helper?
Yes.
Yeah, we will look up the correct property ID number for you so that you can proceed with that before you recess at 12:30.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
In the meantime, we'll go on to item number 7, 58 appeal for 5852 Fremont Avenue South, case number 20BH-0078. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? Board member, there is no information in the packet, and the owner did not call in. Lacking any discussion, would someone submit a motion?
I move we sustain the value of 5852 Fremont Avenue South at $309,500.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Reed.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Reed to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $309,500. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. We'll move on to item number 8, appeal for 5420 Park Avenue, case number 20BH-0079. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? This property had an appraisal completed in March of 2020 for $423,000. Board Member Bland.
Okay, I'm at the wrong one here.
Okay. Board Member Havoc.
Just a comment, the assessed value for 19 and 20 stayed the same, and the appraisal was for a refi. So I would consider sustaining it.
Okay, thank you. I am quite sure that I had showed that property when it was on the market the last time. The valuation, current valuation, to me would seem a little high. As you know, as much as 40 or 50,000. Any other board members? Board Member Bland.
Well, I thought that the comps used were good. I suspect that the value may have come in low due to it being a refi or a HELOC or whatever what they had. I think I showed it too. I've got some vague recollection of it.
It was Mary Carlson's listing.
No wonder I remember it. Yes, so I would say that I would be in favor of some reduction. I'm not sure I would go to the 423.
Thank you. Board Member Reed.
Yeah, I don't have too many more comments. I agree that we should lower it based on the comps are good and the fact that you've been in the property.
Thank you. May I have a motion? Board Member Bland. Board Member Bland.
Sorry, talking to myself again. I move that we reduce the value of the property at 5420 Park Avenue from $495,000 to $465,000.
Do I have a second?
Havoc, second.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havoc to decrease the 2020 estimated market value to $465,000. Clerk, will you call the roll on the motion, please?
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 9, appeal for 110 Bank Street, pound or number L406, case number 20BH-0080. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? Again, we did not hear from the property owner, and there is no information provided. So Without any discussion, would someone be willing to submit? Board Member Havoc.
I'll submit a motion to sustain the value of $280,000 for the property at 1110 Bank Street, number L406.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Reed.
It has been moved by Havoc and seconded by Reed to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $280,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 10, appeal for 110 Bank Street, number G57, case number 20BH-0081. Same property owner and same lack of information. Any comments or discussion? Board Member Havoc.
I make a motion to sustain the value of the market value of $24,100 for the property address at 1110 Bank Street, number G57.
Thank you. It's been, do I have a second on that?
Second, Bland.
It's been moved by Havoc and seconded by Bland to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $24,100. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 11, appeal for 2871 Irving Avenue South, case number 20BH-0082. Are there any questions or discussion from board members on this property? Again, we have no information and there was no presentation from the board. Mumpus from the city.
Chair Anderson and board members, regarding 2871 Irving Avenue, case number 20BH-0082. This was going to be represented by Karen Doomer. Also representing the next cases that 0083 and 0085. This is also the same representative of the property that we discussed yesterday. That's in the addendum for today's agenda, 20BH-0064. And if you recall from yesterday, we had not submitted the call-in information to her, so she wasn't able to call in. So I contacted her yesterday and she wasn't able to attend today, so she just asked that you consider what she had already provided you.
I do not see anything provided.
Okay.
Would it be under other case numbers?
I didn't go back and look to see. I apologize what she would have been referencing. Did she submit anything for any of today's cases?
And I do not believe so. The next 3 cases on the agenda have nothing on them.
Okay.
So can we consider the appeal and decide on it?
You can.
Okay, item number 11, appeal for 2871 Irving Avenue South, case number 20BH-0082. Any additional questions or discussion from board members related to this property? Board Member Bland.
There was no information submitted for us to consider. Based on that, I would move that we sustain the value at 2817 Irving Avenue South at $3,417,500.
I'll need you to correct the address on that.
Whoops. 2871 Irving Avenue South. What did I say?
2817.
Oh, okay. Dyslexia reigns. Okay, so my motion is that we sustain the value at 2871 Irving Avenue South at $3,471,500.
Again, there was need a correction on the dollar amount. The same numbers that you're dyslexic with.
Okay. Maybe I'll let somebody else make a motion. I'll try one more time.
Thank you.
I move to sustain, excuse me, the value at 2871 Irving at $3,417,500.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $3,417,500. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. We are completed with the scheduled items for between 9 and 10. But I believe the can Rebecca or Jackie or someone comment, do we have, will the representatives for items 12 and 13 be present today?
Chair Anderson, they will not.
Okay, so we can continue on with them. What about item number 14?
Yes, that caller will,
Okay.
yes, that property owner will be calling in. Thank you.
And any other of the new business items for 10 and 11, item 15 or 16?
Item 15 will be calling in. Item 16 will not.
Okay. What about item 18?
17, yes. 18, no. 19, yes.
Oh, excuse me. 18 is a no.
18 at 3501 31st Street is a no.
Okay, thank you.
31st.
We'll proceed on to item number 12, 2875 Irving Avenue South, case number 20BH-0083. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? Board Member Bland?
No information was provided, so based on that, I would move that we sustain the value at 2875 Irving Avenue South at $3,122,000.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Havig, second.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $3,122,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 13, appeal for 2445 Aldrich Avenue South, case number 20BH-0085. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? And again, we are without a presentation or any information provided by the property owner. Board Member Havig.
I make a motion to sustain the market value of $1,079,500 for the property address at 2445 Aldrich Avenue South.
Second, Reed.
Thank you. It has been moved by Havig and seconded by Reed to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $1,079,500. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Let's see, we will move on to item number 16, which is 1814 2nd Avenue North, case number 20BH-0090. And are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? I'm sure we'll all need a second to get to the right page. Again, we have no information provided from the property owner and lacking a presentation. Comments or a motion, please. Board Member Bland.
Move to sustain the value at 1814 2nd Avenue North at $333,500.
Check the dollar amount again.
Oh, okay. $338,500.
Is is there a second?
Second, Reed.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Reed to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $338,500. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 18. Appeal for 3501 31st Avenue South, case number 20BH-0093. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? I have a note here that it was sold in August of 2019 for $255,000, and they have provided the sale information of that property. Any other comments or discussion? Board member.
Aye.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Are there any questions or comments from board members for 3501 31st Avenue?
Hello, my name is Maren Hinderley, and I live at 4344 Colfax Avenue South.
Oh,
I've submitted.
Excuse me, we need to have you pause for a bit here. Well, before we get to your case. We are looking at the appeal for 3501 31st Avenue South, case number 20BH-0093. Lacking any discussion, is someone willing to put forward a motion? Did I lose my board members here?
This is Reed.
Go ahead.
I can submit a motion to sustain the value at 3501 31st Avenue South at $301,500.
Okay, is there a second for that?
Land, second.
They purchased it just last year for $255,000, but we have it's been moved by Reed and seconded by Bland to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $301,500. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Nay.
With 3 ayes and 1 nay, the motion passes.
Thank you. We do have callers for the next set, so we will go back to that. For item number 14, 43, just to recap, when your case is called, the applicant will be given 5 minutes to present the appeal. The board will consider and take action after these cases, if time allows, or at the end of the day after hearing all of the cases. If your phone is muted, press *6 to unmute, and property owners will be notified of our decision by mail after the board has adjourned. We will go to item number 14. 4344 Colfax Avenue South, case number 20BH-0087. The applicant is a representative of Thomas Properties LLC. I'll ask you to please state your name and address for the record and then present your appeal to the board. And to unmute, press *6.
My name is Maren Hinderly, and I live at 4344 Colfax Avenue South. I have owned and maintained 4344 Colfax Avenue since 1974. In addition to promptly paying property taxes, I've also paid for sidewalk, street maintenance, and other levies from the city. I have not upgraded kitchen, bathrooms, nor built a garage. I have no pension. My income is from Social Security and part-time work, and I have paid off the house, but the property taxes here are so high that it's as if I haven't paid it off. The current assessment from the city is almost $400,000. And the houses in my neighborhood are selling for an average of $312,000. Now that's almost $100,000 more, $88,000 more in value than it actually is on the real estate market. I think that it's time to lower our property taxes to meet the reality of where we are and what we're worth. Thank you. Do you have questions?
I'll ask the board if they have any questions. Board members? No questions from board members. Thank you, Ms. Hinderly, and you'll be notified in writing of our decision.
All right, thank you.
Yep, thank you very much. Item number 15, 2220 Seabury Avenue, case number 20BH-0088. The applicant is Joshua M. Campos. Please state your name and address for the record and then present your appeal to the board. You'll have 5 minutes, sir.
Yes, good morning. My name is Joshua Campos. I'm the owner of 2220 Seabury Avenue. I purchased the property last year, May 29th, 2019. During that time, I provided documents as part of the appeal. An appraisal of the property, which was performed when I purchased the property. The actual purchase agreement showing the purchase price, estimated value of the home using a home value monitoring service from USAA. So the appraisal was dated April 2015, or sorry, April 15th, 2019. It was performed by John Marchio of Service Link in St. Paul. The appraisal listed the asking price of $499,900, but the actual asking price at the time was $484,000. I just wanted to note that. I did purchase the property for $480,000. and closed on the property May 29th of last year. Additionally, if you look on page 15, you'll see page 15 of that appraisal, you'll see photos of the condition of the property. The appraisal stated that the kitchen was remodeled within 1 to 5 years ago. Documentation left by the homeowners basically said that the kitchen was remodeled 15 years ago. So I just wanted to note that as well. The bathtub and the bathrooms are not newer. I would say that the bathtub is from the 1980s. There's a lot of work on this house that needs to be done as well. After I purchased the house, I received the evaluation notice from 2019, an increase to $546,500. Because I purchased the house in May of last year, I was unable to contest that assessment. So this year, as soon as I got the valuation notice, I attempted to contact the city assessor's office and have them correct the assessment to the actual market value based on the appraiser, based on the appraisal and my actual purchase of the property. They didn't contact me, and I attempted to contact them many times. They didn't contact me to correct that until 9 days before the hearings were actually scheduled. So they basically contacted me to tell me I needed to go to this hearing process to get that value corrected. So that's what I'm doing. I hope the documentation I provided is sufficient to show the assessment or the valuation for 2021 needs to be corrected. Thank you guys for your time in doing this.
Thank you. I'll ask the board members for any questions for Mr. Campos. Board Member Bland.
You mentioned a kitchen remodel that you say is like 15 years old. Can you tell me what was done at that time?
They gutted the entire kitchen. I'll say that they gutted the entire kitchen. They did some spray foam insulation on the entire back wall, and it was done by a contractor. It was professionally done, but it was dated. I would say most of the finishes were dated. Some of the tiling was dated, but it was professionally done. I'll give them that. And that's basically the only part of the house that you could tell was done by a professional.
Okay,
the garage is deteriorating as well, to the extent that some of the joists are sistered together and starting to rot. Something else I'm going to have to take care of.
Okay, could I get back to the kitchen for a minute, please? What are the finishes in the kitchen?
The finishes in the kitchen currently, because I've replaced the countertop, is butcher block, oak butcher block countertops, white cabinets up and down. There's a eat-in table in the kitchen as well. I've replaced the stovetop, and there's a kind of strange situation with the fridge right now, where it's a very slim, tall fridge, like a European design.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from board members? One other question. I seem to recall most of the rest of the property being quite dated, other than the kitchen. Is that correct, sir?
That's correct.
How much?
Yes.
How much was finished in the basement?
I would say there's really some old carpet down there that I'm tearing out as we speak. My truck is loaded with it, so I'm trying to get all that out and take it to the transfer station today. So I would say none of the basement is finished. There's some tile. The laundry down there is okay. It's still kind of grimy. The walls are not finished. It's just bare and painted, so water doesn't get in. There is a toilet and a unpermitted shower in the basement because it just drains directly into a floor drain. So all of that needs to be repaired. Usually I just use that shower to bathe the dog.
Okay.
So
Thank you. We have another question here. Board Member Havoc.
Yes, sir. Just to confirm, the sale price you paid for the house is $480,000. You paid in
Correct.
May of 2019.
May 29th, 2019, that's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other questions, thank you for your time, Mr. Campos, and you'll be notified in writing of our response to your appeal.
All right, thank you guys. You have a good day.
Yep, thank you. Item number 17, 2600 2nd Street Northeast, case number 20BH-0091. The applicant is a representative of Shock Inc. Please state your name and address for the record and then present your appeal to the board.
Yeah, this is Greg Poor, and I am currently located in Alabama, Daphne, Alabama. You need a street address on that.
Go ahead with identify the address of the property and go ahead with your appeal.
Okay. So this is on Shock, the 2600 Northeast 2nd Street. And I emailed the documents over this morning and they were supposed to be in your inbox. I hope everybody has it in front of you. So the first page shows an aerial, the location of the subject property just north of downtown. And it's in the, basically the train yard area. There's kind of a ton of rail traffic. There's a golf course up to the northeast of it, and then a lot of residential properties. And sprinkled along the tracks, there's a lot of industrial. So this is an industrial building, and it's currently used by a company that does like printing plates in branding and things like that. So they, produce plates that print on boxes, and they have kind of a wide variety of services. But so they have some. I included a picture later in the document that shows some of the nicer office type finish that they have. They don't really finish the ceilings in there. It still looks kind of like an industrial building. But on page 2, it shows my requested value at $70 a square foot, and so what you're looking at on the aerial that I included there is the blue box is the subject, and then the property adjacent to the north sold in 2017 and to the south sold in 2018. And if you flip to the third page, this pretty much tells the story of my request. You'll see the subject property in the middle of the page, and then some information on the property adjacent to the north above it, and then below it adjacent to the south, those details. So I put a red X along the current 2020 values that the assessor has put on. So the subject has been placed at $101 a square foot. The one just to the north of it at almost $64 a square foot, and then the one just south of it, adjacent, at right at $60 a square foot. I'm requesting $70 a square foot. I think ours is a little better than those. I mean, if you look at them on the outside, they all look kind of just similar age. They're all from the 80s, and they all look industrial. Those two also sold, so I included the sale prices in their per square foots at the top line of each of those sections. The fourth page shows a couple of interior photos to give you an idea of what the nicer office area looks like. And then the last part of it, I'm not going to go through these, but I did provide a search through CoStar, and these are searched on industrial flex buildings, which is what I believe our category falls in. So a flex building gives you more office space. Many times they're multi-units and they rent them out, so they have some office space in front, maybe a shop in the back, like a carpet cleaning company might be in there, or just any type of a service operation. So those sales, and if you look at the map, it they're just kind of sprinkled all over Minneapolis. They don't sell real great. The very high end of the range is 7107, and that was, you know, the one right real close to us. So anyway, the average on that was $48 a square foot. I'm not asking for that. I think we're in good shape. We don't have any roof leaks at this time, and my client does maintain the property. You know, I checked as far as just current physical status. So are there any questions?
Okay, board members, do you have any questions for Mr. Poor at this time? Seeing none, we will have need to take a little more time to review the documents, being that we just received them today. You'll be notified in writing of your appeal after adjournment of this meeting.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yep, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Item number 19, 2204 17th Avenue South, case number 20BH-0095. The applicant is Mr. Victor M. Ariza Pastrana. Please state your name and address for the record and then present your appeal to the board. You'll have 5 minutes, Mr. Pastrana.
Good morning. My name is Victor Ariza Pastrana, owner of property 2204 17th Avenue South, Minneapolis. We purchased the property back in April 29 and in the amount of $80,000. And we believe we can appeal the current property taxes for 2020 because of the current condition of the property, that it needs some repairs inside and out and remodeling in the entire house. We submitted the photos showing the current condition of the property to the board, and as well as the closing document showing the amount that we paid for the house.
Okay. Do you have any other comments to make before I open it up for questions to the board members?
The only thing I can add is that we compare other properties that were in the area with the similar square footage, and it's not comparable to my property due to the conditions of my property. That's my last comment.
Okay, thank you. Board members, do you have any questions for Mr. Ariza Pastrana? Seeing none, thank you for your time, and we will notify you in writing after the adjournment of the board.
Well, thank you very much.
Yep, thank you. I believe that is all of the callers for the 10 to 11 time slot. I need to check to see where we left off in reviewing. I think we'll be starting with item number 14, appeal for 4344 Colfax Avenue South, case number 20BH-0087. Are there any questions or discussion from board members related to this property? Board member Havoc.
In looking at the property online from the photo, it's a very small house. The good is it's in a spectacular location. The downside is it's a very small house. So I would suggest something would be considered on this property. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any other board members? Board member Bland.
Looking at what she submitted, she claims in writing that similar houses nearby are selling for 210,000. I would buy them for 210,000 all day in that neighborhood. I'm thinking that whatever analysis was done included condos. There have been some buildings in the area that have been converted to condominiums in fourplexes. I actually grew up in one of them, so I know this neighborhood very, very well. I grew up just a block from there. So the only way you could get to 210,000 for homes in this area is if you included condos. So that number is grossly understated.
Thank you. Any other comments? Or lacking board member Havik?
The comparison, are we talking about 4344 Colfax?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. The market analysis that I'm looking at is 312,967 was the average. And these all look like houses to me, single family houses. Okay. Faye, have you got some different information that I'm looking at?
No, just go back a page, Steve. Her written or typed information on a previous page of about whom it may concern.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. Oh, no, that's incorrect. Yeah. So again, I think it's a phenomenal location and a very small house. So again, I would suggest something would be up to the board.
Okay. Without any more comments, I would entertain a motion.
Chair Anderson, I would move that we reduce the value to the previous year's evaluation of $380,000 for the property at 4344 Colfax Avenue South.
Is there a second?
Having second.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havik to reduce or decrease the 2020 estimated market value to $380,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havik.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Nay.
With 3 ayes and 1 nay, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 15, the appeal for 2220 Seabury Avenue, case number 20BH-0088. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? This one was sold in 5/28 of 19, provided closing statement of 480 and I believe an appraisal of 484. Board member Reed.
Oh, you answered my question. I couldn't find the appraised value. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from board members? Board member Havik.
With this one, I would consider a reduction based on the sale price and the appraisal.
Okay, I agree with that. Any other comments or questions? Board member Bland.
There were, I believe, 6 comps. 4 of them were very good. There were 2 that were really, the 4 were right along the river, not, probably had river views. The others 2 were several blocks away. I would count them as not very good comps. Also, I was interested in the fact that the appraiser referred to all those comps as bungalows. When I look at the pictures, those aren't bungalows. The buyers who want that bungalow aren't even going to consider something that doesn't look like a bungalow, no matter what you call it. I also noticed that while there have been, in the last apparently 15 years, there have been 2 kitchen updates, no permits appear to have been pulled with regard to that. But our homeowner did say that he installed counters and cupboards. So he did upgrade the kitchen to some degree since he bought the property.
Yeah, my understanding that he just did the counters and painted the cabinets, but
Well, then I misheard him. I thought he said he installed white cabinets.
Oh, okay. Could be. I could be wrong as well. I do know that the property, several of the properties along Seabury have been owned by or occupied by people for long periods of time, and many of them are in need of updating. But based on what I'm seeing here, a recent sale, arm's length transaction with an appraisal is a pretty strong case. Is there a motion? Board Member Havig?
I make a motion to reduce the value of 2220 Seabury Avenue to $500,000.
Do I have a second?
Bland, second.
It has been moved by Havig and seconded by Bland to decrease the 2020 estimated market value to $500,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Let's see. Order-wise. Item number 17, appeal for 2600 2nd Street, case number 20BH-0091. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? Board Member Bland.
Mr. Chair, could we postpone this to the end of our day today, or at least this session, in order to have an opportunity to look over the file that was just sent in this morning?
Okay, thank you. We will take this one into continuance to later in the day or perhaps the afternoon session if more time is needed. We will move on to item number 18, appeal for 3501 31st Avenue South, case number 20BH-0093.
Mr. Chair, I believe the board has already acted on this case.
Oh, thank you for that correction. We will move on to item number 19, appeal for 2204 17th Avenue South, case number 20BH-0095. Take 1 second here to get the page. Okay, thank you. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? Board Member Bland.
That was from before. I'm still finding the page. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. Any other? This property sold 429 of 20 for $80,000 according to the HUD statement, settlement statement. Board Member Bland.
This property was an estate, and I'm guessing it was in pretty rough shape. The value, assessed value is $239,500. They bought it for $80,000. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's a head scratcher. How bad was it?
Well, the photos provided, it looks pretty rough, but I've shown properties around there, but I did not see that particular property.
I sold one not too far from there a few years ago that was in really bad shape, had been terribly abused, and I know my buyers got it for a really good price. but that price was, and this was a few years ago now, $139,000, which they ended up selling just a few months ago for $300,000 with a lot of fix-up. $80,000 is pretty amazing for anything these days.
It is, but after viewing the photographs, it does not surprise me.
It's going to take a lot of work.
It will. Any other comments from any other board members? Seeing none, may I have a motion, please? Board Member Havoc.
I would say that based on the photos and the condition of the property and the sale price, that we need to consider that. And I don't know if it should be a valuation of 80,000 or something slightly above, but there certainly should be a reduction.
Thank you. Is there anyone willing to make a motion? Board Member Reed?
Yeah, I would move to decrease the value of 2204 17th Avenue South to $150,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Reed and seconded by Bland to decrease the 2020 estimated market value to $150,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 20, 4607 Pillsbury Avenue, case number 20BH-0096. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? From my notes here, the property is sold and closed on December 20th, 2019 for $195,000, and there was an appraisal that was dated July 30th of 2019. And what appears to be a sale between relatives. The grantor was John Ekblad and the grantee was Ryan Ekblad. So it might be not an arm's length transaction. Any other questions or comments from board members? It's not an arm's length transaction. It's interesting that it's sold for higher than the appraisal. Board Member Bland.
$180,000 in that neighborhood is pretty good, no matter what you're getting. And I would also agree that the arm's length transaction throws a kind of a monkey wrench into the whole deal. So I think the 180 is definitely not going to be something.
I agree. Thank you. Any other board members have with questions or comments? Seeing none, I will ask for a motion. Board Member Havoc.
I think based on the fact that this has sold for higher than the appraised value and not an arm's length transaction, or is just a relative, I think we should consider the sale price for the valuation.
Okay. Any other comments? I feel that a number higher than the sales price would be appropriate here, given that it's not arm's length and the area generally sustains higher values. Any other comments? Board Member Bland.
I would not agree to reducing it to the sales price. Again, arm's length transaction area, 180, not realistic.
Okay. Would someone be willing to put forward a motion?
I'll put forward a motion to reduce the value of 4607 Pillsbury from 275,500 to 225,000.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
Bland, second.
It's been moved by Havig and seconded by Bland to decrease the 2020 estimated market value to $225,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. We have completed all of the items for the 10 to 11 timeframe. We are well in advance of the 11 to 12. Are there any callers in the queue?
Mr. Chair, there are no callers in the queue at this time.
Thank you. Assessor staff, the call-ins from 11 to 12, are there any call-ins that have reported that they will not be calling in or showing up?
Chair Anderson, I did not hear from case 20BH-0101 at 4725 11th Avenue South. Additionally, I do not believe I heard from 20BH-0103, but I need to double check that one.
Okay, in my notes I have item 25, case number 20BH-0104. And item 27, 20BH-0108 as highlighted as not presenting today. Is that correct?
That is incorrect. I did hear from 104. That's case or agenda item number 25. He will be calling in.
Okay.
And agenda item 27 will also be calling in.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
What is proper procedure here?
Yes, Chair Anderson, since they are on the agenda for the day, you could move to your write-in cases.
Which are the ones for this afternoon?
That is correct. They begin with case number, let me just verify. 0149. That is 5644 Thomas Avenue South.
First of all, board members, do you have the afternoon packet available in front of you?
Yes, Bland.
Could I get a page number? This is Reed, excuse me.
503.
Okay.
I do.
Okay. Board member Reed?
I do.
Thank you. I do not have a script for this afternoon yet, so we'll wing it. Case number 20BH-0149. 5644 Thomas Avenue South. And are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? My notes.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry,
Yes.
I still have not found it. Where are we looking, please?
Page 503, the packet for the afternoon session.
Okay. Okay, my stuff ends at 5:02. Okay, so I need to go into the other room.
Okay. Could someone from the assessor's office confirm that that's case number 20BH-0149 is the first of the write-in appeals for today?
Chair Anderson, that is correct.
Okay, thank you. We're waiting for board person Bland.
Okay, I'm back and I have 503 in front of me.
Okay. Thank you. I'll restate again. Case number 20BH-0149, property address 5644 Thomas Avenue South. My records show that they purchased the property in September of 2014, so 6 years ago, for $720,000. And at that time it was new construction. Any other comments from board members? Well, board member Reed.
With that in mind, a new construction, and they haven't offered any comps or really any, there's no argument here to lower the total market value, assessed value. So.
And we have seen property values go up in the last 6 years, so it does not seem like an excessive amount. Board member Havik.
I'm just reading his notes on the back side, and he's basing his appeal, it looks like, on COVID-19, and that's not what we're dealing with. So I would suggest that we make a motion on this.
Okay. I will entertain a motion if there's no more comments. Board member Reed.
Yes, I would move to sustain the value at 5644 Thomas Avenue South at $836,000.
Is there a second?
Havig, second.
It has been moved by Reed and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $836,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board member Bland.
Aye.
Board member Havig.
Aye.
Board member Reed.
Aye.
Board member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Case number 20BH-0150, 2304 Oliver Avenue South. Are there any questions or discussions from board members regarding this property? There's just a one-page summary of recent sales by the property owner. Are there any questions or comments from board members? Board member Havig?
It does not look like there's anything given to us that we can make a decision on, and the 19 and the 20 are the same. So I would make a motion to sustain the value at 2304 Oliver Avenue South.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Reed.
It has been moved by Havig and seconded by Reed to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $940,500. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Case number 20BH -0151 4830 Grand Avenue. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? Board Member Bland.
Well, unless I'm missing something, it looks like all we have here are some pictures of a lot of damage. Now, what is that a current project that's going on? Was it purchased in that state? I don't believe there's enough information here to make any kind of a determination on value.
From what I see from the records, the last deed transfer was in 1984 for $86,000. And one of the names matches up to that sale. Are there any other comments? Pictures of the condition do not support that price, but for lack of other evidence, it's very difficult to make a determination. Would someone be willing to put forward a motion? Board Member Bland?
Based on the lack.
I believe you've muted yourself.
Got it. Yep. Based on the lack of information provided, I would move to sustain the value at 4830 Grand Avenue, $538,000.
Is there a second?
Havig, second.
It's been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $538,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Case number 20BH-0152, 710 Jackson Street. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? If I'm board member Havik.
It looks to me like on this case, there is no any data to make a change, just divert maintenance photos, and the market value is the same as 19. So I would put a motion forward to sustain the value of 710 Jackson Street at $284,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Bland, second.
It has been moved by Havig and seconded by Bland to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $284,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Nay.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes and 1 nay, the motion passes.
Thank you. Case number 20BH-0153, 208 Oliver Avenue South. From what I read here, it was purchased in end of August of 2018 for $299,000. And beyond that, there is not much information. Is there any discussion, questions from board members related to this property? Board Member Bland.
Well, Bryn Mawr is a special little neighborhood and it gets pretty big prices. Based on that, I'd probably vote to sustain the value.
Okay, I would tend to agree for lack of more information from the property owner. Our live feed has changed.
Yes.
Board Member Havoc.
I'll second that.
Okay.
I didn't make a formal motion, but I'll be glad to.
Okay.
I was looking for the location. I guess the only thing that I would say is I'm trying to figure out where 208 is. If it's north of the freeway, it's a good value. If it's next to the freeway, I don't know where this is. So that's my only, I wasn't listening.
This is Reed, and it is north of the freeway. So it's not next to the freeway, and it's a block off of Penn in Bryn Mawr.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. Do you have any other?
And I'll make a motion that we sustain the value at 208 Oliver Avenue South at $384,000.
Do we have a second on that?
Having second.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havoc to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $384,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Case number 20BH-0154, 4621 Lake Street. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? From what I read, it sounds like they've had a difficult time renting the property. Looking at the photographs, I'm not exactly sure why. It seems to be a very attractive location near the river. And maybe the interior condition would explain that, but any other comments? Board Member Bland.
I am familiar with that building. It's a very nice building, and I do know one of the owners from way back. So yeah, I'm stymied as to why they're having trouble renting it. I don't think that's been a problem in the past. Don't know.
Okay. Any other comments? Questions? Seeing none, I'll call for a motion. Board Member Bland.
Well, I move to sustain the value. of the property at 4611 East Lake Street at $556,400.
May I have you correct the address, please?
Did I do that again?
Yep.
4611 East
No,
Lake
46.
Street?
Unless I, 4621.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at their mailing address. Yeah, thank you. 4621 East Lake Harriet, I'll start again. 4621 Lake Street East sustain at $556,400.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Welcome.
Second, Reed.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Reed to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $556,400. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Case number 20BH-0155, 4021 Colfax Avenue South. My records indicate it was purchased August 29th, 2019 for $841,000. Are there questions or comments from any board members on related to this property? It appears to be an arm's length transaction. Any other comments or questions from board members? Board Member Bland.
This is a very nice property in a really super location. The value hasn't changed from last year. And I'd make a motion we sustain the value of 4021 Colfax Avenue South at $984,500.
We have a second, or do we have a second?
Second, Reed.
Okay. Like I said, I believe it was arm's length transaction in August of 2019 for $841, but we have a motion. Just moved by Bland, seconded by Reed to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $984,500. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Nay.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Nay.
With 2 nays and 2 ayes. The motion fails.
Thank you. I will look for another motion here. Board Member Bland, did you, or is that an old request for the floor?
It's an old request, but I'll be glad to make another motion.
Board Member Havoc is requesting.
All right, go for it.
Okay.
Go ahead, Board Member Havoc.
Yeah, well, now I put the pile down. I would make a motion to reduce the value to for 4021 Colfax to $900,000.
Do I have a second?
Bland, second.
It has been moved by Havoc and seconded by Bland to decrease the 2020 estimated market value to $900,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item 20BH-0159, 1920 Washburn Avenue North. And we have very little information on this property. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? Board Member Bland.
Well, due to lack of information, I would vote that we sustain the value at $236,500 for 1920 Washburn Avenue North.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Okay, may I have a second?
Second, Havig.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $236,500. We'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Case number 20BH-0160, 2525 37th Avenue South. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? We just have a 3/4 page letter from the property owner. I do not have enough information to even provide a comment. Board Member Havig.
Yes, I read the letter on the back, and that is not enough information to make any adjustments on the tax value. So I put a motion forward to sustain the value of 2525 37th Avenue South for $508,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Havig and seconded by Reed to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $508,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Case number 20BH-0161, 3223 39th Avenue South. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? As far as I can tell, zero information has been provided. Board Member Bland.
Correct. Zero information. I would move we sustain the value at $213,500 for the property at 3223 39th Avenue South.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second, Havig.
It's been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $213,500. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
I will ask the city, do we have any homeowners in the queue? Oh, there we go.
Mr. Chair, we do. We have callers for this session, 11 to 12 session in the queue.
Okay, thank you. Give me 1 minute to get back to item number 21. Item number 21, 2534 Taylor Street, case number 20BH-0100. The applicant is Corey M. Glow. Please state your name and address for the record and then present your appeal to the board.
Hello, my name is Corey Glow. I live at 2534 Taylor Street Northeast. I wanted to thank the board for their time today. I purchased this property in March of 2018 for $328,000. The proposed value for 2021 is $421,500, which represents an increase from my purchase price of 2 years ago of over 30%. During that time, the time that we've lived here so far, the value we've added has included minor wall work and painting on the interior, as well as adding a ductless mini split, which obviously does add some value. The location, as it stands on our block, there is an abandoned church and school, which obviously does not add curb appeal to our block. The nearest large street, Lowry, just south of us, has extremely poor pedestrian access and has, up until coronavirus, has been extremely busy and quite honestly not safe for pedestrians. And the nearest park from our house is a little over 4 blocks away, which is about as far as you can get away from a park in our neighborhood. I've listed out several current issues with the house which affect the value in my eyes, and provided a series of comps. And the one note I wanted to add about the comps is that slide 6, the houses which were bought around March of 18, I just thought those were notable because my wife and I had placed offers on those prior to actually purchasing the 2534 Taylor Street house. So it just seemed notable to me that those houses have not appreciated in the eyes of the city of Minneapolis the way our house has. So in closing, I provided a proposed home value based on the refinance valuation and an increase over time. And I hope that the board will consider my appeal. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from board members here? Seeing none, thank you for your time, Mr. Glow, and you'll be notified in writing after adjournment of the board.
Thank you.
Thanks. Looking on the agenda, the applicant for item 22 is not present. We will go on to item number 23, 2344 River Point Circle, case number 20BH-0102. The applicant is Susan A. Vixie. Please state your name and address for the record and present your appeal to the board. You'll have 5 minutes.
Yes, Susan Vixie, 2344 River Point Circle.
Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead with your appeal.
Okay, thank you for taking the call. Our valuation appeal is based upon the recent sale of properties in our townhome development. Our address is located within the Riverview Townhomes development in the Hawthorne neighborhood, 2 blocks north of Broadway. There are 29 townhomes, 13 4-level and 16 3-level. Our home has 3 levels, 2 bedrooms, 1 full bath, 1 3/4 bath, and 2 half baths. The addresses in the complex are River Point Circle and River Point Lane. What I originally attached were 3 recent homes in our development that are the size of our home, which is approximately 2,200 square feet, that have either recently sold or are for sale. For example, 2336 River Point Circle sold September 18th, 2019 for $377,000. 2315 River Point Lane, so is for sale for $363,900. And 2323 River Point Lane sold March 5th, 2020 for $367,000. All these homes, if I didn't mention before, are 3-bedroom. Well, ours is the 2-bedroom. And fortunately, when you go on Google and you put in my address, it does show where the property is located at the north end. However, it shows you pictures of the 4-level homes that face Ole Olson Park and the river. However, if you were to Google, for example, 2315 River Point Lane and go into realtor.com, you would see what our home looks like. The 2323 River Point Lane and 2315 River Point Lane face a lawn, a nice lawn that then is across from the Light Source property. Our property on the north end, when I look out the kitchen window, 50 feet from there is a railroad track, working railroad, and 100 feet from there is the Semstone aggregate operation. In my original application, I did send a picture, which I understand you don't have, from my back porch that shows the operating Semstone aggregate, and then on the river is Continental. So we feel that, well, it's quite noisy, yeah. We feel that due to the recent sales of properties that have more bedrooms than we do, and 2 of them that have a better location, that our value is not the $405,000 that was sent, or that is going to be assessed next year. And so we ask for your consideration.
Thank you. I will open it up to the board for questions or comments. Okay, seeing none, thank you for your time, Ms. Pixie, and you'll be notified in writing of the board's decision after adjournment.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Item number, excuse me, can I get some clarification on from Rebecca or Jackie as to which property is next in the queue?
Mr. Chair, do you want to go ahead, Rebecca?
Yes, I can go ahead. I apologize. The next one up is item number 25. That's 1920 Franklin Avenue Southeast, case number 20BH-0104. That would be Brad Mersel.
Okay, thank you. Item number 25, 1920 Franklin Avenue Southeast, case number 20BH-0104. The applicant is a representative of Mersel Rental Properties, LLC. I'll have you please state your name and address for the record, and then you'll have 5 minutes to present your appeal to the board.
Thank you very much. My name is Brad Mersel. I manage the property at 1920 Franklin Avenue Southeast. I've gone back and looked at the valuation of the property for the last 5 years. In 2015, the property was valued at $385. In 2016, the valuation went to $459. In 2017, the property valuation did stay the same. However, in 2018, it went to $495.5. In 2019, it went to $525. And now in 2020, it has been valued at $614. I spoke to a gentleman by the name of Tim Ulven in April, and he stated that the current valuation is actually $644. at this point. This is a family-owned property for many years. We have no off-street parking. There is no dishwasher. There is no central air. All of the services are performed by myself and family members. We're not speculators. We keep the property in a well-maintained state. We've always tried to keep the rents reasonable, provide quality, affordable housing for our tenants. Our tenants are mostly students at the University of Minnesota or recent graduates. Our monthly rent, we've had to adjust it to $9.80. You put on utilities to that price, along with food, clothing, and entertainment for our tenants, and you come out with a cost of about $1,380 per month for tenants. We believe that the valuation of the property is not accurate, and it's really going to raise the rents beyond what our tenants can afford at this point. We feel that this building is really a working antique. It's well over 100 years old. The property is in need of capital improvements that we're addressing. We will have to put in new kitchens, new bathrooms, update electrical. The front porches are going to be addressed this year. We feel that the property, if it were to be appraised, it would not be appraised at the current valuation. My question to the board is, how did you arrive at this new valuation, whether it's $614 or $644,000? That's my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any questions from any of the board members regarding 1920 Franklin Avenue Southeast? I just have one, Mr. Marcel. Did you send in that documentation that you were referencing through your presentation?
I did not have it prepared in time, but I can send it in.
Okay. It makes it difficult for us to review without any written information. Any other questions from board members? Board Member Bland.
How many units are in the building?
4 units in the building, ma'am.
And
the rent is the same for all of them?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Your rents are the same for all 4 units?
All 4 units are the same, yes.
Thank you.
And I believe I heard earlier that there's no off-street parking, so no garages, no parking pad at all for the property?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from board members? Seeing none, thank you for your time today, Mr. Marcel. You'll be notified in writing after adjournment.
Thank you.
Thanks. Item number 26, 912 Franklin Terrace, case number 20BH-0105. The applicant is Sarah Fair. Please state your name and address for the record and then present your appeal to the board. Press *6 if you've been muted. Assessor,
Yes.
is that
Mr.
applicant?
Chair,
Yes.
the applicant is in the queue. Please press *6 on your phone. The applicant is now unmuted. Please proceed and present
Can you
your
hear
appeal
me?
to the board. Yes, we can.
Yes, thank you.
My name's Sarah Fair. I live at 912 Franklin Terrace, 55406. And I think I sent some photos in, but I'm not sure whether or not you were able to visualize them.
Yes, we have them.
Okay. So I think my first piece is that I'm actually quite close to my neighbors on Franklin Terrace as well as the street behind it on 30th. And it seems that possibly at least 6 of my neighbors have had significant granted relief from the proposed tax for 2020. And they sort of let me know this, that maybe in general there's been some over-evaluation of these 2 streets. In addition to that, if you look at recent sale prices, there is a house to the south of me that was recently sold in the last year for $540,000, and it is literally the nicest house on the block. It's a very large house, and it is completely updated and maintained impeccably. And my proposed taxation is based on 4,995, and just alone in my wet basement, I have over $40,000 worth of work to do. And that being said, speaking of deferred maintenance, I mean, I have been a homeowner in Minneapolis for over 34 years, and I am getting finally to a point in my life where I can maybe invest in this home. But if the taxes continue to go up, it's going to become harder and harder to afford repairing this house. And I think the other piece, and this is some of what my neighbors had spoken to as well, is that 914 and 912 Franklin Terrace happens to be on a bit of a hidden area, just sort of under the bypass of 94, which sort of has always in the last 5 years lended itself to sort of what I'm going to call petty crime, drug use, drug selling in front of my house, car windows being broken, garages being broken into. But if someone comes to see a house, if I were to try to sell it and there's several cars parked out front, you know, selling marijuana or obviously smoking marijuana, that's going to deter people from buying a house that's newly evaluated at $500,000. There's also quite a bit of noise because we're 2 houses in from 94 freeway. Most of my neighbors have said that they've gotten at least, and it's a mix of properties. It's all different types of properties, but almost everyone has gotten somewhere between $30,000 and $55,000 granted relief. And so at that point, I thought it might be appropriate to address this issue, if nothing else, to sort of maintain some ability to continue to repair the home. Hello?
Yes, we're still listening. Do you have any other comments that you would like to add?
Well, I mean, I can itemize sort of the concerns with the home itself. I mean, obviously, if the house that has the updated kitchen and the updated roof and the professional paint job and the brand new garage and professional landscaping and professional fence and new wood burning stove is being sold at $540, and my home has a wet basement with dirt. The 3rd floor, I have to use space heaters. The electric is broken up there. All the bathrooms date back either to an original period or to the 60s. The upstairs kitchen, I think I sent you photos. There's no dishwasher. The floors are peeling. So the renovations we have done to the building was 20 years ago, we put a new roof on with, and then in 2000, I want to say 13 or 14, via Craigslist, I got new cabinets and counters for the downstairs kitchen and then new appliances, but that was also 6 years ago. So, you know, I think the home just needs a lot of work, and I don't actually know if you could sell it the way the basement is right now. The basement needs to be sump pumped, and then areas of it need to be cemented. So, you know, and tuck pointed and such. I'm not a professional basement fixer, so I don't know exactly the terminology. So I guess, you know, the combination of maybe other possible overvaluation of the neighborhood based on my neighbors' reports, the concerns for some petty crime due to its hidden area, you know, sort of decreasing the value. The most expensive, nicest house on the block is only being is only, there's only like a $40,000 difference. And I don't even think actually I've gotten bids for my basement.
Thank you.
I couldn't fix it.
Yeah, you've spoken for 5 minutes. Can you wrap up, please?
I'm done. I thought you wanted more. Sorry, I was done a while ago. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. I'll ask the board if they have any questions regarding this property. Board Member Bland.
Ms. Fair, are you renting out part of this property currently?
What did you say?
Are you renting out part of this property?
What do
you
you
have a
mean?
renter?
Like,
Do you have a renter?
no, I don't have a renter per se. I have like an Airbnb room.
I see. So you do rent it out on occasion with Airbnb?
Just a room, yes. One of my sons lives downstairs, paying off his student loans in one of the bedrooms, and then intermittently, but not during COVID, obviously, there is the ability to rent out one room on Airbnb.
Okay, because you mentioned an upstairs and a downstairs kitchen. So how does that work?
Oh,
does the Airbnb include a kitchen?
No, it's shared space. My son lives down there. We homestead the house and we lived in the entire home. We raised 6 children there, and we still have 2 of our 6 children in the home with us. So there's 4 of us in the home, and then one room that we intermittently use on Airbnb. So we've lived in the entire house. We live in the entire house. It's not separated out, as in you walk in the front door, and there's one set of stairs. So it's not like 2 doors per se.
I see. Okay, thank you.
One question, how far away from I-94 are you there?
I'm the 3rd house in.
Okay, thank you. I'm familiar with that. Any other questions from board members? Seeing none, thank you for your time, Ms. Fair, and you'll be notified in writing after the board adjourns.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Let's see. Do we have any other?
Mr. Chair, we have
Yes.
the applicant in the queue for item 27.
Oh, we do. Okay. Item number 27, 335 2nd Street Northeast, case number 20BH-0108. The applicant is Ryan Weber. Please state your name and address for the record, and then you'll have 5 minutes to present your appeal to the board. Go ahead, Mr. Weber.
Hello. I was unmuting. I missed part of that, but yeah, this is Ryan Weber from 335 2nd Street Northeast. So looking at recent multifamily sales in the area, I didn't really find any support for the $468,000 valuation on my home. The 2 most expensive sales I found in my zip code were 1543 Jefferson Street Northeast, $420,000 on November 5th of 2019, and 824 5th Street Northeast, and that was $454,000 on October 31st. Both of those homes appear to be in excellent condition, but they're considerably larger than mine. That 1534 Jefferson comes out to $152 a square foot, whereas 824 Fifth comes out to $161 per square foot. It also has a 50% larger lot and a 2-car garage. Based on per square foot calculations, that would put my home at $316,000 or $335,000. For homes similar in size to mine, which is 2,080 square feet, I didn't see any that sold for over 380. And then I don't know if you got I had to send a screenshot due to some technical difficulties. I don't know if you got that attachment. But then I listed
Yes.
3 sales. I'm sorry.
Yes, we received it. Thank you.
Okay, and then I listed 3 properties that were almost identical to my square foot, or the closest I could find, and they ranged from $262,000 to $345,000. And then, I had corresponded with Ms. Laura Williams regarding this, and she had mentioned the updates that were done, so I just addressed those below. And I understand why the assessed value rose following the updates, but it's I'm not following why many years later my assessment increases continue to outpace my neighboring properties significantly. From 2015 to 2020, my assessed value rose by 66% or 186,000, while the neighboring property rose by 42.5% or 103,000. The house right next to me, same building, it's the same house essentially. They did add a gable on the back, and so they do have a little bit more square footage, but other than that, the properties, they're very similar. They have a little larger lot and a driveway, whereas I have an easement to the neighbors to access the driveway in the back. So this is a little bit larger, but essentially they're the same houses, and theirs is valued at $347,000. Mine's at $468 now, and it just keeps going up, whereas theirs is not going to be rising at the same rate for some reason. With regard to those updates, it is a nice home, but it's really not any different besides my siding than any of the neighboring properties. And those updates were done 8 years ago. So, I mean, I did include some pictures where things have not held up real well. And there's some buckling of plaster, drywall, improperly laid concrete. I just noticed yesterday that there's some rot on the garage where the door is going to have to be replaced. And that's essentially it, I guess. I just don't, I just think it's, the valuation is high compared to other sales in the area, and the valuation is high compared to neighboring properties that are almost identical. And that concludes my statements, I guess, unless you have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Weber. I will open it up to the board for questions. Board Member Bland.
Is this a side-by-side duplex or an up and down?
It's an up and down.
And you said you're occupying one part of it now. What rent do you get for the other?
I get $14.35 per month for the downstairs.
Okay, and is that what you were getting for the upstairs when that was rented also?
Yeah, I haven't permanently rented the upstairs. I've had permanent tenants up here. I've had to move around quite a bit for work over the past few years, so I haven't wanted to, I guess, remove the option to return for myself. So I've Airbnb'd it when I've been relocated elsewhere for work, and those. I guess you could say, yes, it probably averages out to about that. Some months are better, some months are worse. It's not consistent.
Okay, the properties around you that you referred to, are those also up and down, two units?
Yep. The one next door at 331 is the story I was told anyway. Was the same builder bought it or built those two for his two children, and so they're identical.
All right,
I've been in. Yep.
Are there any other questions from board members? Seeing none, thank you for your time, Mr. Weber, and you'll be notified in writing of the result of the appeal after the adjournment of the board.
All right. Have a good day.
Yep, thank you. And do we have any others in the queue here?
Mr. Chair, yes. We have in the queue Ms. Amy Gagne for items 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32.
Oh, okay. Item number 28, 701 University Avenue Southeast, case number 20BH-0109. The applicant is a representative of Sella Investments, Inc. Please state your name and address for the record and then present your appeal to the board. Press *6 if you're muted. Ms. Gagne?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
This is Amy. I am Amy Louise Gagne. I'm here with Mr. Paz B. Sella, and I'm the general manager, authorized agent for the Sella companies, and Mr. Sella is the owner. And I'll let Mr. Sella speak.
So we own about 8 properties on University Avenue Southeast. They were built in the early 60s. This specific unit, you guys increasing the value of the property by over 20%. It's about 12 units, 1 bedrooms. They're running about 750 square foot. There is one efficiency there that it's a little bit smaller. We understand about prices going up and increases. We feel that 10% increase is more accurate than going up 20% in a year. The other issue that we have is the property across the street, which is 708, very similar to this property, and there you increase the value by, if I'm not mistaken, close to $400,000. It's very similar property to the one across the street. Pretty much the same rents, 24 units, 1 bedroom, and the new value will be $118,000 per unit versus the new value for 701 at the full increase at 102 a unit. We feel that more accurate will be an increase of 10% to these 2 properties, but we feel that 20% in a year, it's very excessive, especially now where we feel that there's some cracks in rents. Most of those people that living there are students, low and moderate income people. We try to keep the rents as reasonable as we can, and it's just, especially 708, it's just unrealistic to go to 120 unit for literally the same building as 701 University.
That's funny. I'd like to, that's all we have to say on those 2 properties.
Okay.
We'd like to next ones, if we could.
Which one?
The next one is 2725 Humboldt. And again, we'd like to thank you for your time this morning. And our portfolio, we work with the low to moderate income families, a lot of student housing, a lot of low to moderate income families, and a lot of veterans is our portfolio.
Okay, thank you. You can go ahead to 2725 Humboldt Avenue South if you like.
Okay.
So this property is a mix of 1 and 2 bedroom units. Again, the building was built in the 60s, no major improvements. We definitely maintain our buildings. I think that you increased the price by over $500,000, and the new per unit price is $183,000. We can't phantom that. We own a lot of buildings in Uptown. The values are running between $100,000 to $120,000 a unit. Here, suddenly we are at $183,000 a unit with the new pricing. Even the 2019, I wasn't aware of that. I feel that it's high at $2,879,000. But going from 2,879 to 3,311, that's over close to $600,000 increase in a year.
Not realistic.
It's absolutely not realistic. I feel that it's a mistake, that somebody made an error that we were not aware, because we would approach you guys about it last year. So that's for this building. It's 18 units, a mix of 1 and 2 bedroom units.
And then let's go on now, Mr. Chairman, to 3436 Lindale.
Go ahead with 3436 Lindale Avenue, case number 20BH-0114. Go ahead.
before, I spoke to you guys about it yesterday, I think, or the
About
day
34,
before. We feel that this is a fair increase, but what I don't understand, those are sister buildings, 3436, 3700, and 3708 are literally the same building,
Cookie
built by
cutters.
the same builder at the same time. And here, those two buildings, 3700 and 3708, the appraised value is much higher than 3436 Lindale. We are okay with the increase on 3436 Lindale. We are not okay with the increase of 3700 and 3708 Lindale. As I said, those are the same buildings, same rents, same time of units, were built at the same time by the same builder. Which other ones you have?
we have another hearing later on today, Mr. Chairman, and that is for 707.17. So I think we finished our analysis for today, for this time.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Do you have any questions for us?
I will open it to the board for questions for 701 University Avenue Southeast, 708 University Avenue Southeast, 2725 Humboldt Avenue South, 3436 Lindale Avenue South, and 3708 Lindale Avenue South. I had one question. I believe you said that you were okay with the valuation of 3436 Lindale Avenue South. Is that correct?
Yes, it's right here, 1 million. Let me show you. Hold on 1 second. Here it is, right there. 1 million.
Yes, sir, I'm okay with that.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions from board members at this time? Seeing none, thank you for your time, and you'll be notified in writing after adjournment.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good
Thank you. I believe that we have completed all the hearings for the 11 to 12 time frame. Is that correct?
Mr. Chair, you are correct. That concludes the applicants for this time period.
Okay, let's look at, consider an act on those appeals from the 11 to 12 time period. Item number 21 was the appeal for 2534 Taylor Street, case number 20BH-0100. Give me 1 second to get to the right section here. For the board, it's page 251 if anyone needs it. The property, are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? Board Member Bland.
I felt they needed better information. Their sales, comparable sales were from 2017, 2018, and 2020, a few of them. It looked to me like they were mixing in multifamily homes. And I think this one is a single family, if I'm right. So it was kind of confusing. Maybe they have a case, but I don't know that they presented information to make it possible for us to make a determination.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from board members or questions? Seeing none, may I have a motion, please?
This is Bland. I move to sustain the value of, let me get back there, sorry. 2537 Taylor Street Northeast.
I'll have you correct the address, please.
Okay, 2534 Taylor Street. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Northeast at 221, pardon me, never mind, I got it, 421,500.
Thank you. Do I have a second on that?
Havig, second.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $421,500. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 22, appeal for 4725 11th Avenue South, case number 20BH-0101. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? Board Member Bland.
This property is located in Shenandoah Terrace, which tends to really be popular, and although it's a small area, homes in Shenandoah Terrace really are in high demand. I noticed that there was an appraisal that was done a couple of years ago, so that wasn't particularly helpful for today. There was a kitchen remodel done in 2018, and some of the, I realized that there probably weren't a lot of comps in Shenandoah Terrace because it's small, so they went outside of Shenandoah Terrace, but there was no adjustment made for location. So it's quite possible the appraiser was not aware of the popularity of that little corner of the city.
Thank you. From the photographs, it appears that there's an unfinished expansion, but reviewing the permits, there was a kitchen permit pulled for $45,000 in June of 2018, which would be after the purchase date. Are there any other questions or comments from board members? Seeing none, may I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move that we sustain the value at 4725 11th Avenue South at $412,500.
Thank you. Do I have a second on that?
Second, Reed.
It's been moved by Bland and seconded by Reed to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $412,500. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 23, appeal for 2344 River Point Circle, case number 20BH-0102. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? One question for the assessor's office on the homeowner, and it's referenced in the letter that there's 3 attachments for properties sold. I do not see them in the packet. Were they not included by the homeowner, or were they omitted by the assessor's office?
Chair Anderson, I will check on that with staff. It'll just take me a couple of minutes.
Okay. In the meantime, are there any other questions or comments from board members regarding River Point, 2344 River Point Circle? Board Member Havig.
Yes, I'm unfamiliar with this area. It sounds to me like living next to a railroad train and a cement factory is quite unusual. So I guess I wouldn't have any comments on this at all. It sounds awful. Thanks.
And what's interesting, I believe we've heard several cases from people in River Point Circle that are not happy with their valuations. And that may be part of it. But it is, downtown location. There are all sorts of mitigating issues on all those properties. Board Member Bland.
I would suspect that when they bought the property, they already knew what the view was.
Yes.
Just saying.
Thank you. From the assessor's office, Ms. Malmquist.
Chair Anderson and board members, I am not seeing any other attachments other than the Word document that she originally attached. I'm not seeing any.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Yes.
So she will have the right to appeal to the county if she's not satisfied with our judgment.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Without any other comments, may I have a motion, please?
Bland, I move that we sustain the value at $404,500 for the property at 2344 River Point Circle.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Yeah, Havig, second.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $404,500. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Nay.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 3 ayes.
Okay, thank you. Item number 24, appeal for 5214 Zenith Avenue South, case number 20BH-0103. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? From what I see here is we just have a partial page of addresses with brief descriptions of bedrooms and price. Board Member Bland. Board Member Bland.
Yes, I'm looking at that list, and I would say there are a couple of here that are totally irrelevant. They've sold for $295,000. So does this mean they were much lesser properties? We don't know when they sold necessarily. So not helpful information.
I agree. I cannot make any determination off of the information provided. I will ask for a motion.
I move that we sustain the value at 5214 Zenith Avenue South for $525,000.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second, Reed.
It's been moved by Bland and seconded by Reed to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $525,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 25, appeal for 1920 Franklin Avenue Southeast, case number 20BH-0104. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? Board Member Bland.
Yes, I feel the homeowner may have a case here but did not really provide enough information for us to make a determination. Perhaps she would consider moving on to the county, but I don't know that we can determine anything from what we got.
Yes, nothing was provided in writing and was all verbal. I agree that there may be a case here given the lack of parking. So I will look at a motion. Ms. Malmquist from the assessor's office.
Chair Anderson and board members, as he mentioned, the property owner, Brad, he did submit something to us since you've heard from him, and we have saved it in your Teams folder.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. I will ask that we continue this till the afternoon session so that we have time to review that information. Moving on to item number 26, appeal for 912 Franklin Terrace, case number 20BH-0105. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? I have some comments. A number of years ago, I sold property that was just 2 doors away from this property. When they rebuilt I-94 or did some additional work, the groundwater changed and all of the adjacent properties experienced significant below grade water intrusion and severely affecting foundations. The property I had listed actually had, when it rained, it had a river running through it. It would come in one side and go out the other. Being that this is just 2 doors away, I would imagine they're experiencing something similar. So I feel that highway work has detrimentally affected the value of their property. Are there any other comments from other board members? Board Member Reed.
Based on what you shared, I would agree with you. Do you have a number in mind, or?
I'm just trying. I don't know that. The home property owner applicant suggested 330 to 350. That might be a little extreme. To me, something around 400 might be appropriate. Are there any questions, comments, or may I have a motion? Board Member Bland.
Well, I think the proximity to 94 is also an issue here. 499.5 does seem pretty high to me. 400 seems maybe low. It's, going back to 2017, it was assessed that year at 382.5, and the following year at 424. I think I'd be more inclined to say a 525 reduction instead of the 400, 425, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Comments, or would someone put that in the form of a motion?
I'll help Faye out with the numbers. I would make a motion to reduce 912 Franklin Terrace to 425,000.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Bland, second.
It has been moved by Havig and seconded by Bland to decrease the 2020 estimated market value to $425,000. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 27, the appeal for 335 2nd Street Northeast, case number 20BH-0108. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? Board Member Bland.
I feel like this guy could benefit possibly from a visit by an assessor for an appraisal. I was kind of two minds about, whether or not he's too high or not. So, but there wasn't a lot of information provided that would help me make a decision.
I tend to agree that there is more than likely a case here, but he, in my mind, failed to prevent adequate documentation to make that case. Are there any other comments or questions? If not, may I have a motion, please?
Land, I move to sustain the value. Oops, now I went to the next one, sorry. Getting ahead of myself. At 335 2nd Street Northeast at $468,000.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second, Havig.
It's been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $468,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
4 ayes, the motion passes.
Okay, thank you. We're at 11:56. And I'll ask the assessor's office if we should move to the 12 o'clock people that are in the queue or continue to wrap up with the fields that we have for this hour.
Chair Anderson, since you don't know how long the next one may take you, I would probably proceed with those that have called in.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
New business, we have 4 appeals scheduled from 12 to 12:30. We'll proceed in case order as listed on the agenda. When your case is called, the applicant will be given 5 minutes to present their appeal. The board will consider and take action after hearing these cases, if time allows, or at the end of the day after hearing all cases. If your phone is muted, please press #6 to unmute. Property owners will be notified of our decision by mail after the board is adjourned. Item number 30, 2725 Humboldt Avenue. Oh, excuse me.
Mr. Chair?
Yep.
Yes, the board has already heard items 30 through 32, and the applicant for item 33 is in the queue.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Item number 33, 800 Minnehaha Parkway East, case number 20BH-0116. The applicant is Judith Gauthier. Please state your name and address for the record and then present your appeal to the board.
Hi, my name is Judith Gauthier, or Gautier, probably the right way, 800 East Minnehaha Parkway. My sister and I bought this duplex in July of 18, and we're both living here. I'm retired. She'll be retiring this year. It was previously a rental, so we're doing kind of a lot of maintenance-related issues, like there was bats in the ceiling and the boilers hadn't been maintained, those kind of things. Other than that, there's been kind of no major upgrades or remodeling. It still looks like the 1950s, 60s places that were originally built. So I sent a list of comparable duplexes that sold recently. I got a list from my realtor, and then I went into the Hennepin website and kind of did some comparable numbers that I thought might help. We paid $495,000 in July of 18, and that year it was valued at $515. And last year it went up to $571, and I wasn't aware of this appeal process, even though I should read those sheets that come out better. And so I spoke to a gentleman, Scott, I don't remember his last name, and he said that I should try to appeal this way because now it's gone up to 594, I think. So I guess I'm just looking in terms of, so it's up almost 100,000 from what we paid less than 2 years ago, and just looking at the comparable places, and I realized they don't have the Minnehaha Parkway address, which when the inspector looked at the place said, beware of the M effect, and we said, what's that? He said, your address. And so I wasn't aware of that. So I guess I don't really have much else to say other than I'm a little concerned if it keeps going up at this rate, you know, what happens with our taxes and those kinds of things. I don't know if you have any questions for me or.
Okay, thank you. I'll open it up to the board for questions. Board Member Havig.
Yes. Have you taken this from a rental status to a homestead status for you and your sister?
Yes, we have.
Okay, thank you.
So at the present time, you're not, or as of January this year, you were not renting it out to any other parties?
No, so we both moved in July of 18.
Okay.
And she lives, it's an up and down, and I live upstairs. She lives downstairs.
Okay, thanks for the clarification. Are there any other questions from board members? Seeing none, appreciate your time today, Ms. Gauthier, and you'll be notified in writing from the board.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So, is that all the assessor's office, is that all the phone call-ins for this morning's session?
Chair Anderson, that is correct. I should have probably double check and have Jackie confirm though.
Mr. Chair, you are correct. That concludes our call-in appeals for the morning session.
Okay. With that, we will go, let's see, are we on item number 28?
Mr. Chair, you are correct.
Okay.
Case number 20BH 0109.
Thank you. Item number 28, appeal for 701 University Avenue Southeast, case number 20BH-0100. Oh, hold it. 0100. Is that right? Oh,
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. It's 0109. Okay,
case number 20BH-0109. Make a correction in my form here. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? Board Member Bland.
Well, similar to the other cases from this particular applicant, they may well have a case. We don't have the necessary information to make a determination. Certainly encourage them to go on to the county process and provide more information there. So based on that, I would move that we sustain the value for 701 University Avenue Southeast at $1,291,000 for this year.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second, Reed.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Reed to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $1,291,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item 29, appeal for 708 University Avenue Southeast, case number 20BH-0111. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? Seeing none, may I have a motion?
Bland. Move to sustain the value at 708 University Avenue Southeast at $2,999,500.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Havig, second.
It has been moved by Bland, seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $2,999,500. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. And the next item, I got my pages out of order. The appeal, item number 30, appeal for 2725 Humboldt Avenue South, case number 20BH-0113. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? Board Member Bland?
Same as before. We encourage them to move on, provide more information. Based on that, I'll move that we sustain the value at 2725 Humboldt Avenue South at $3,477,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Reed.
It's been moved by Bland and seconded by Reed to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $3,477,000. We'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 31, appeal for 3436 Lindale Avenue South, case number 20BH-0114. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? It is my understanding from our discussion with the property owner that they were okay with the value. May I have a motion, please? Board Member Bland.
Isn't it nice we get to agree? Based on that, I would make a motion that the property at 3436 Lindale Avenue South is sustained at the current value of $1,180,000.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second, Reed.
Okay. It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $1,180,000. We'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 32, appeal for 3708 Lindale Avenue South, case number 20BH-0115. Are there any questions or discussion from board members related to this property? Board Member Bland.
Well, unless I'm mistaken, this is the one that they were comparing to the previous one, which they were satisfied with and would like this to be valued at the same amount. They claim it's the exact same building, unless I'm mistaken. But again, based on the information that we have here, I would vote to sustain or move that we sustain the value of 3708 Lindale Avenue South at $1,523,000.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second, Reed.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Reed to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $1,523,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 33, appeal for 800 Minnehaha Parkway East, case number 20BH-0116. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? This property was purchased in July of 2018 for $490,000, currently assessed at $594,500. Although the evidence provided, a lot of the comps were on busy side streets as opposed to being directly on the parkway. I do believe there is some merit here given the condition of the property when they purchased it. Any other comments from board members? Board Member Bland, Board Member Havig.
Yeah, without knowing what the difference is between commercial rates for rental rates versus homestead rates, I agree that there should be consideration given to this property.
Thank you. Are there any other comments or questions? Seeing none, would someone, may I have a motion, please? Board Member Reed.
With that information, I would move to decrease the value to previous years at $571,500 for 800 Minnehaha Parkway East.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second, Havig.
It has been moved by Reed and seconded by Havig to decrease the 2020 estimated market value to $571,500. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Nay.
With 3 ayes and 1 nay, the motion passes.
Thank you. New business. Item number 34, 4640 Ewing Avenue South, case number 20BH-0064. The applicant, Yvonne Heineke. Please state your name and address for the record and then present your appeal to the board.
Mr. Chair, this item was continued from yesterday.
Oh,
and
okay.
The applicant did not call in, and I believe the assessor's office can confirm that the applicant was not going to call in today as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Is all the information on that property in yesterday's file?
Chair Anderson, the property owner, did share some additional information, and I have saved that to your Teams folder, so you may want to continue that to this afternoon as well, so that you can review it.
Okay, thank you. We will continue that until this afternoon session. So we all have a chance to review it. Ms. Malmquist, do you have an additional comment?
Yes, Chair Anderson. If we could just go back to that condominium garage case from the 9 o'clock session. The condominium garage was case 20BH-0077, 740 Portland Avenue, parking stall 519. It was David Helper, and he had meant to file on his condominium unit. So we would like to add a case for that. So we would like you to add case 20BH-0244. The property ID number is 260292423179. The 2020 estimated market value is $1,226,500.
Thank you. I did not hear, when you read the address, is there a unit number on this?
I do not have the condominium unit number in front of me. I only have the garage stall unit number.
Okay, thank you. Would it be appropriate to continue that one so that we can have more time to look at that again?
I do not believe that they provided anything. I would have to go back and double check.
Okay. No, they did not provide any written information beyond just a brief description. We can act on that one. Find the could someone give me an item number, please? Or a page number?
Mr. Chair, it's item number 6 on the agenda. I'm sorry, I don't have the item number in the packet, though.
Okay, it's on page 43.
I believe Rebecca provided us with an item number that she's adding for the unit, but she doesn't have a unit number.
The unit number is 1614.
Okay. So we can simply rule on that because that's what his intention was?
You should rule on both.
Oh, okay. No problem.
Sorry for all the page rustling here.
I'm just the same.
Item number 6, appeal for 740 Portland Avenue, number P519, case number 20BH-0077. This is the garage space. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property?
Mr. Chair, I move that we sustain the value for 740 Portland Avenue, number P519 at $22,000 for the year.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second, Reed.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Reed to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $22,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. We have a new case number 20BH-0244, 740 Portland Avenue, unit number 1614, PID number 2602924231079. City assessed market value is $1,226,500. Would someone with the assessor's office be able to give us what the 2019 assessed value?
Chair Anderson, we're looking it up now.
Thank you.
Brian Keyser has that for you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Brian.
Good afternoon, Chair Anderson, The 2019 valuation on that property is the same as the 2020 at $1,226,500.
Thank you for that update. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? Board Member Bland.
Without any evidence that can convince me otherwise, I will need to move to sustain the value of the property at 740 Portland Avenue, Unit 1614 at $1,225,500.
Correct the price again. $1,226,500. Will you make that adjustment, please? Board Member Bland, will you unmute?
Yes, thank you. All right, here we go again. I move that we sustain the value of the property at 740 Portland Avenue, Unit 1614 at $1,226,500.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Havig, second.
It's been moved by Bland and seconded by Havig to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $1,226,500. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havig.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Checking where we're at right now. We are at 12:20. We can listen to, or we can review a few more write-ins, or we can adjourn. Any comments from board members or assessor staff?
Chair Anderson, if you would want to take up another write-in or two, it just relieves your schedule for this evening and tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. With no objections from the board. Oh, let's see, where am I at here? Okay. Case number 20BH dash 0163 107 Rustic Lodge. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property?
Can I get a page number?
603.
Page number 603 and a value of 603.
Oh, how weird is that? I see a number of repairs are needed on the property. I have reviewed several of the comps that he provided for a market that I have done on another property, so I'm familiar with the comparables, even though he hasn't provided extensive information on them. I would tend to agree that the property valuation is high given the condition. Are there any other comments from board members? Seeing or hearing none, may I have a motion, please? Board Member Havig.
Well, do you have a suggestion for the board as far as what you would feel would be more correct? Is that a word?
I feel that a number in the lower fives would be more appropriate.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Yep, thanks. Board Member Bland.
I'm thinking somewhere in the fives myself, maybe something like 540 would be appropriate. Any discussion?
That sounds like an appropriate range to me. Any other questions, comments?
I would agree with that.
I would agree. Agreed.
May I have a motion, please?
Okay, I move that we reduce the value of the property at 107 Rustic Lodge West from 306,000 to 540,000.
You're dyslexic again.
Oh my God.
The value. Please restate your motion, please.
Okay. I move that we reduce the value at the property at 107 Rustic Lodge West from 603,000 to 540,000.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second, Reed.
It's been moved by Bland and seconded by Reed to reduce the 2020 estimated market value to $540,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Case number 20BH-0164, 639 22nd Avenue Northeast. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? For information purposes, it's on page 619. Board Member Bland.
For other information purposes, there is no supporting evidence whatsoever. So based on that, I move that we sustain the value of $495,000 for the property at 639 22nd Avenue Northeast.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second, Reed.
It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Reed to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $495,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. Case number 20BH-0165, 1203 Washington Street Northeast. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? Board Member Bland. Oh, I jumped the gun on you there, sorry.
Okay.
Again, no information was provided by the applicant.
Right. Yes. So based on that, I move that we sustain the value of the property at 1203 Washington Street Northeast at $351,000.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Havoc, second.
Thank you. It has been moved by Bland and seconded by Havoc to sustain the 2020 estimated market value at $351,000. We'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Aye.
Board Member Havoc.
Aye.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 4 ayes, the motion passes.
Thank you. We will hear one more before we recess. Case number 20BH-0167, 2812 Humboldt Avenue South. Are there any questions or discussions from board members related to this property? Just of note, the property was purchased on February 18th, 2020 for $600,000. Their appraisal that the applicant has provided was at $605,000. It is currently assessed in the 2020 year at $722,000. Are there any other comments or questions from board members? Board Member Havik.
Yes, on this one, I'm going to recuse myself because I was the realtor on this one.
That's hardly no, I'm just kidding. Thank you for identifying that, Board Member Havik. Are there any other questions from board members on this? Seeing none, I will ask for a motion. Board Member Reed.
Well, based on purchase price and appraised price, I would move to decrease the value on 2812 Humboldt Avenue South to the appraised value of $605,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Reed and seconded by Bland to decrease the 2020 estimated market value to $605,000. I will ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Board Member Bland.
Nay.
Board Member Havik.
Recused. Can I vote on it?
No.
Okay.
Board Member Reed.
Aye.
Board Member Tinker is absent. Chair Anderson.
Aye.
With 2 ayes, 1 nay, 1 abstention, the motion passes.
Thank you. With that, we have completed all items on the agenda for this meeting. I will ask members and staff if there are other matters to come before this meeting. If not, and without objection, I'll declare this meeting recessed until May 20th, 2020 at 4 p.m. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Chair Anderson. It was a great day.
Thank you.